G'day mates, today I'm going to be doing a Joker tier list. I'm going to make this a super quick one because we have 150 items to get through and these can generally go for over an hour. We haven't got time for that. Let's try and do this nice and quick for you and get you back into Balatro's runs. Firstly, we're going to be starting off with the Joker, just the standard old Joker. This is a +4 multi on everything. As a starting card, it is fine, but it's not great. It's something you don't really want to be keeping past maybe the first couple of antes if you can. Secondly, we have got these 4 cards here. They're going to be based on your suit. So you've got the Greedy Joker, Lusty Joker, Wrathful Joker, and the Gluttonous Joker. So Greedy Joker, you're going to get a +3 multi for every diamond suit card. It's fine if you're doing a flush run, good. For the Lusty Joker, you're getting a +3 multi for your hearts, good. If you are playing spades, same deal. And then obviously your clubs. So they're all just +3 multis on each card you play. It's a bit better because you're getting the +4 on each card played. The next 10 cards that we have here are going to be based on the type of hand you are playing. So you've got your pairs, 3 of a kind, 2 pair, straights, and flushes. And firstly, you're going to be getting a multi bonus for the hands played. Next, it's going to be a chip bonus. So these ones are alright, I think, again, for what they are. They're fine. I wouldn't be keeping them very long. They're probably good to start you off, but nah, all of these here are around a C tier. Maybe keep them for the first 1 or 2 antes, but I wouldn't be hanging on to them for heaps long if possible. Next up, we have got the Half Joker. So the Half Joker is pretty good. If you are playing high card, pair, or 3 of a kind, you get a +20 multi on this one. So I'd actually have to pop this either in a high B, or I'm going to actually chuck it in an A, because somebody who plays high card, you can take this through mid, you're getting even into the later game there as well if you've got other cards that will complement it. So yeah, I think it's quite good. Next up we have Stencil. Stencil is a bit of a tricky one. You get a ×1 multi for every empty Joker slot you have, so it is a card that is good to have if it's the only card you have. The more Jokers you add to it, the less useful it becomes. But if it's the only Joker you have, and you probably be able to get a few antes out of it, to be honest, if you've got really strong enhanced cards and all your other bonuses are up there. So let's just chuck her in a B. Not great, but it's not bad. It will get you where you need to go. Next we have the 4 fingers. So your straights and flushes can be done with 4 cards. If you're doing a straight run or a flush run, this thing can be very, very useful. You don't get the benefit of the 5 card scoring, but it just means that you can smash a straight or a flush out in 4 cards, nice and easy. Next up we have Mime, so this will re-trigger all card held in hand abilities. This is our first God tier card. This thing is amazing. You pair this up with something like Baron, for instance, or any of your steel cards or gold cards. This thing just is insanely powerful. So definitely the first God tier card. It's one of the best cards you can get. Next we have the credit card. Credit card will let you go up to $20 in debt. So this card here is very good if you're in a pinch and you need something to save your run. Generally, I actually find it more of a trap, to be honest. So I generally don't want to put myself into debt there. There are a lot of Jokers that you want to use where you need to have a bank balance. So I'll put it in a low D because it's not something you want to completely avoid. It will help you if you need it, but generally I don't recommend getting it. Next up we have the Ceremonial Dagger. This one here is a tricky one. It's an uncommon card there, but you will basically, you're going to destroy the Joker to the right of it, and it's just going to double its sell value to the multi. It is fine, but it's one of those cards you have to keep an eye on there, because you might move it around before starting a blind and forget to put it right all the way to the right there, and it will destroy one of your more valuable Jokers. So I don't really like it, to be honest. I think it's a bit of a useless card in that sense there. Again, it's very much like the Stencil, as long as that's the card you're really going to be banking your play around. Other than that, avoid it. Next up, we have Banner. Now, Banner is quite an OP card. I'm actually going to chuck it up here. You get 30 chips for each discard that you have left. And for someone like me who plays high card, I generally don't have to do any discarding. This thing here is just going to give you a nice little chip bonus. I think it's quite a powerful little card. You can almost take that through to endgame as well. It's pretty good. Next up, we have Mystic Summit. So it's a +15 multi for when you have 0 discards remaining. So complete opposite of the Banner. This one you want to be using all your discards to get that +15 multi. I don't think it's anywhere near as beneficial as Banner, so I will chuck it. I'm actually going to chuck it in a low D. I think it's a bit poo. Next, we have the Marble Joker. Now, the Marble Joker is only very, very good if you have the Stone Joker as well. Marble Joker, I'm probably... what it is, it's an uncommon. It adds a stone card to the deck when you're selecting a blind. Again, only if you're going to be using your stone cards in your hands. Otherwise, nah, I'd avoid it. I'd actually probably avoid it, to be honest, there, unless you're using it with the other Stone Joker there. Next up, we have got the loyalty cards. You get a ×4 multiplier every 6 hands played. I think this is also an avoid. It's got a benefit 1 every 6 hands. Nah, I mean, it's too few and far between to make it worth it, so I'd avoid that one. 8 ball, 1 in 4 chance for each played 8 to create a tarot card. So if you have a lot of 8s in your deck, yeah, you can get a bit of benefit out of it there, but to be honest there, nah, another avoid for me. I wouldn't bother with it if you're a newcomer. Next up, we have the Misprint. So Misprint is going to give you just a random multi, so it could be +4, could be +10, could be +20, could be +25. It could be any sort of random number. It's fine. As an early game card, this thing will help you massively, but after probably anti 3 or 4, chuck it. It's fine though. Next we have got Dusk. So re-trigger all played cards in the final hand of the round. Yeah, I mean, generally I don't like to get to using my last hand. I want to try and beat around in the first or second hand and have some hands left over for that little bit of a remaining hand bonus. So if you are someone though that is using every hand to get past the round, firstly I'd probably rethink your Joker setup there, but secondly, nah, I wouldn't be banking on the last round or the last hand of the round saving you. So I'll put it in a D because it has some uses. I think it's actually probably above bank card, but not as good as Misprint. Next, we have got the Raised Fist, so it adds double the rank of the lowest ranked card held in hand to your multi. Yeah, it's fine. If you're doing a run where you're using a lot of high cards there, you can get an extra +20 multi. Again, probably even rank it above Misprint because it's a little bit more consistent. Unfortunately, Misprint's very randomized. So next we have Chaos the Clown, 1 free reroll per shop. For what it is, it's fine. Get a free reroll. I don't generally do many rerolls if there's nothing in the shop that I'm interested in. I'll just play the next round, keep the money in my account. But this gives you an extra little looky to see if there's something in the next set of items that might be up to what you were after. So let's just chuck her in B. Next we have got Fibonacci. So Fibonacci, each played ace, 2, 3, 5, and 8 will get an up 8+ multi. Unless you are playing those particular cards, and a lot of them, I've seen people go nuts with this thing, putting it into top tiers and stuff. I think it's pretty average, to be honest, so I don't recommend it. Next up, we have the Steel Joker. You will get a 0.2 multi for each steel card in your full deck. So if you've got a lot of steel cards, this thing can be pretty good. If you don't have a lot of steel cards, it is completely useless, so I'd avoid it. But I'm going to be basically basing this off of you having a lot of steel cards in your deck. That's the type of play you're going for. We'll chuck her in a B. Next up, we have the Scary Face. So played face cards give a +30 chip when scored. If you are playing a lot of face cards, this thing is pretty close to being able to take it to an end game. It's not a bad card at all, especially with something like Pareidolia, where every card is counted as a face card. So I think it's quite good. Next up, we have got the Abstract Joker. So that's a +3 multi for each Joker card that you have. If you got a whole bunch of negatives on there and you've got 9, 10 Jokers, maybe more, this thing can be all right. But generally, most people are probably only going to have 5, 6, 7 Jokers. And there's just so many other cards that are better than it. I think it's a bit overrated. Still better than Bank or the credit card, but not great. Next, we have Delayed Gratification. So earn $2 per discard if no discards are used by the end of the round. So if you're someone like me who does not really use the discards and you have a whole bunch of them sitting there, it's just free money for what it is. And in conjunction with some other cards, I actually think it is quite a handy card to have around, especially early and mid game. Don't take it into the end game, but early mid game, this thing will help you out massively. Next, we have Hack. Re-trigger each played 2, 3, 4, or 5. If you're doing low-end straights, or you have a lot of 2s, a lot of 3s, a lot of 4s, a lot of 5s, and you're doing 4 of a kinds, 3 of a kinds, full houses, whatever it may be, then yeah, Hack's fine. And I've seen some people do some insanely good things with Hack. I'm going to base it off of you playing around those cards there, and if that's the case, retruing all of those cards there is pretty good. I'll chuck that in a high B. Next we have Pareidolia. As I said, if they pair that up with Scary Face and some of the other jokers that we'll be talking about a bit later, this thing can be pretty good. So I have to really chuck this up around Scary Face because these two go hand in hand, I find. So next up we have the Grozmichael. Grozmichael is a good card to get in the first few antes there, just to help you sort of smash out those rounds a bit easier. It has a 1 in 6 chance of being destroyed, but you get a plus 15 multi out of it, so it's not a permanent card. The chances are you probably only get a few rounds out of it, but for what it is, it's fine. I think it's probably a high C, maybe even a low B. We'll go a low B. C's looking a bit chockers at the moment, so let's be a little bit more spread across. Next we have Even Steven. So Even Steven is 10s, 8s, 6s, 4s, and 2s. If you play any of those, you get a plus 4 multi. Nah, it's fine. If you're basing your run around it there, you get a maximum basically of 20 plus multi, which is okay. It's got to be around here because they're the same as the flushes. So I'll put it there because it's probably a bit more versatile than a flush run. Odd Todd, I think, is a little bit better. It's pretty much the polar opposite. So your aces, 3s, 5s, 7s, 9s. You play any of those there, you're getting 31 chips per card. So if you are doing 4 or 5 of a kind with aces there, you can potentially get an extra 155 chips. It's a little bit more useful than the multi, I think. So I'll actually put that in a low B. I think that's a lot more useful than the Even Steven. Speaking of aces, we got the Scholar. Played aces give you a plus 20 chip and plus 4 multi. If you're playing a lot of aces, this thing's good. So we'll base it around that. So I think it's actually probably a little bit better than those two. Probably better than this there. Probably about there. Only if you're playing aces though. That's the thing. It's a situational card. If you're not playing aces, completely avoid it. Next we have business cards. So played face cards have a 1 in 2 chance of giving you $2 when scored. You play this with Pareidolia. Every card that you play, you got a 1 in 2 chance of getting some coin out of it, getting $2. So in conjunction with those, it is probably sitting up here. Unless you're not playing face cards. If you're not playing face cards, avoid it. It's completely useless to you. If you're playing a lot of face cards though, get it. It's just free income. Don't use it past sort of mid-game though. Next we have Supernova. Supernova adds the number of times a poker hand has been played to the run to your multi. So Supernova is fantastic if you're just playing the same hand over and over again. For someone like me playing high card, I generally start playing my high card rounds at the end of the first ante, start of the second ante, around there. And then basically every time I play it, I'm just getting a +1 multi. It takes a while to build up some steam and become super useful, but once it does, it's good. I'd probably go high B for that one there. Next we have got the Ride the Bus. So this joker gains a +1 multi per consecutive hand play without a scoring face card. So obviously you don't want to be using it with Pareidolia for Scary Face or the business card. This is the complete opposite if you're not playing any face cards. I don't think that it's good at all, to be honest. So it limits you, it takes out jacks, queens, and kings as something as playable, and they're generally higher end card. Unless you're building your play around it, then it's fine, probably a C, but I'd probably be not avoiding it if you can. There's much better cards. We got the Space Joker, so 1 in 4 chance of upgrading your played poker hand. So if you're just playing the same thing over and over again, it's very similar to Supernova. It's just going to benefit you from repetition in the same hand being played continuously. I don't think it is quite as good as Supernova. It's probably around the same as Supernova. I'll chuck it around there. It's just 1 in 4 chance. It's not always going to pay off, but when it does pay off, it's pretty good. Next we have got the Egg. So it gains $3 of sell value at the end of each round. This thing is very versatile. So if you get stuck, you can sell it off, make some coin. You might also pick up something like Temperance, where it will give you a little bit of coin based off what your sell value of all your jokers is. And also Swashbuckler. It works very well with Swashbuckler, which is essentially based off of your sell value of all your jokers. So I honestly think that that's a god tier card. If you get that early on, this thing becomes so useful in the end rounds. Next, we have Burglar. So when the blind is selected, gain 3 hands and lose all your discards. Again, god tier. It's very, very useful. I don't really discard anyway, and unless you're using something like banner or delay gratification, discards aren't going to be something you're using very often. Might as well get rid of them and get some extra hands. They are more useful. Next up we have a blackboard. So ×3 multi of all cards held in hand are spades and clubs. Nah, I think that's pretty average, to be honest there. I would avoid it if possible. Next we have the runner. So gain 15 plus chips if the hand contains a straight. So if you're playing a straight run or a straight flush run, this card is very useful, and it's a common as well, so it's a very good common card for that. If you're not doing straights, 100% avoid. If you are doing straights, I would chuck her in a high B, to be honest. I think that's a pretty handy card to have. Next we have ice cream. Start off with 100 chips and you lose 5 chips for every hand played. Very good for your first half of your game there. It gradually, obviously, over time, the more sort of hands that you play, the less beneficial you're going to get out, benefits you're going to get out of it. But I think, especially for an early to mid game card, it is pretty good. Next up, DNA. If first hand of the round has only one card, add a permanent copy to the deck and draw it to the hand. This is pretty much a paramount card if you are trying to build a specific type of hand. If you are wanting to do a five of card run, or if you want to put a lot of kings into your hand because you're getting Baron or whatever it may be, DNA is extremely good. Do not sleep on DNA. It is so useful. Next we have Splash. Every card counts in scoring, so every played card counts in scoring. Again, if you're doing, say, 4 of a kind there and you put an extra card in there, you might get an extra 7 chips or whatever it may be. I think it's pretty poor, to be honest. Probably the best out of the avoids at this point, but probably one of the worst cards that we've talked about at the moment. We've got the Blue Joker. Now, the Blue Joker is very similar to Ice Cream in the sense that it will just give you a nice chip bonus each hand you play. This one is based off of how many cards you have in your deck. So you get 2 chips per card that you have in your deck. So obviously, as long as you're not discarding or removing a lot of cards there, this thing is powerful. I'd actually rate it quite a bit higher than a lot of these. I think it's actually probably up there with Banner, to be honest. I think it's wicked, especially for high card runs like I play. Next we have the Sixth Sense. First hand of the round is a single 6. Destroy it and create a spectral card. Good way to get rid of all your 6s if you want to, or if you grab a whole bunch of 6s. This thing can be quite good, giving you a free spectral. If you're not adding 6s to your deck there, it's a 4-time use and then it's done. You get rid of it. But for what it is, I think it's a low B. If you have a few 6s, getting some spectral cards for removing cards, it's win-win, essentially. Next up, we have got the Constellation. If this Joker gains, this Joker gains 0.1 multi every time a planet card is used. So you're just pumping out planet cards there, getting your multi upgraded every time. Very good if you get it early on. Past that point, though, not as useful. I'd probably be chucking it in maybe a low B as well. Very, very useful if you're using it with Astronomer, where all your planet cards and Celestials are free, but other than that, yeah. It takes a while to pay off. Next up, we have Hiker. Every card played permanently gains $5 or 5 chips when scored. If you get this early on and you're playing a specific type of card mainly, so you're just playing aces or kings or queens or whatever it is, and they keep coming out and you keep playing them and that, this thing is wicked. It is god tier. If you're getting it mid to late game, I'd probably be putting it lower and lower, but if you can get it early enough and that, this thing is wicked. It really helps you scoring out later on. The Faceless Joker, earn $5 if 3 or more face cards are discarded. Yeah, it's fine. If you have a lot of face cards, you're discarding them, you're not playing them, you get $5. It is what it is, says what it does on the label. I would probably put it around mid-C. I still wouldn't be banking on it. Green Joker, +1 multi per hand played and -1 multi per discard. If you get this early on as well and you're not using any discards, over time this thing gets better and better. I'd probably be putting it in around a low C. Again, only if you're getting it earlier on. I wouldn't be getting it past sort of anti 4 or 5. I think then it just doesn't have the legs to help you in the end game. We've got Superposition, so create a tarot card if the poker hand contains a ace and a straight. So if you're doing straights and it's either a high straight or a low straight and you've got that ace in there, yeah, I mean, you get a free tarot card out of it. It's the only time you're going to get a benefit out of this card. If you're not doing that, those specific conditions, avoid 100%. If you are, free tarot card for not doing much, I think it's fine. I think a mid-C is fine for that one. To-do list. So earn $4 if your poker hand is blank. So it could be 4 of a kind, could be 2 pair, could be 3 of a kind, could be a flush, whatever it is, and it just changes each round. Honestly, if you are trying to get further in Balatro's scoring side of things, there you're going to be playing a specific type of hand. You're not chasing all these random hands just to get $4. I think this card is actually one of the most trash cards in the game, to be honest. So, yeah, don't rate it at all. So avoid. Next up, we have Cavendish. So Cavendish will give you a ×3 multi, and it has a 1 in 1,000 chance to be destroyed at the end of the round. I have only ever lost this card once, and I was shocked when it happened. Honestly, for a ×3 multi with such a small chance of it being destroyed, it is definitely a god tier card. There's better cards you can get there, but I think it is quite good for what it is. Next, we have the card sharp. So a ×3 multi if the played poker hand has already been played this round. So if you're just playing the same hand over and over again, say for instance, I play high card, you're just basically going to be playing high cards continuously. The first hand you won't get anything, but every hand after that subsequent hand you are going to be getting that ×3 bonus. I think only because you're not getting it on that first hand, and I generally like to try and close a round off in one hand, I'd have to chuck it down into a high A. I can't put it in god tier. Next up, we have the red card. This Joker gains +3 multi when any booster pack is skipped. If you're skipping boosters, then you're just throwing money away. Obviously, some stuff will come out there where you're not going to be getting a benefit out of it. That's where you will want to skip it. That's fine. But very rarely I'd be skipping it just to get a +3 multi. You'd have to skip a lot to make this card worth it. So not as bad as to-do list, but pretty goddamn bad. Next up, we have Madness. When small blind or big blind is selected, gain 0.5 multi and destroy a random joker. This card, I have seen people rate stupidly high, and I've seen people do stupidly good things with it there, but you have to basically be only wanting to keep this card. You don't want to get any other of these nice cards up here and get attached to them, because this thing will just chew them up, and it brings a tear to the eye. I honestly would, for what it is, you can have some fun with it there. I'd have to say it's probably a mid to high B. Yeah, mid to high B. Just, yeah, be careful with it. Next up, we have the square joker. This joker gains 4+ chips if the hand has exactly 4 cards. If you're doing 4 of a kind, 2 pair, this card becomes fairly useful, gaining 4 chips each hand. But you want to be doing those types of hands very early on and have this card very early on to get any great benefit out of it. Honestly though, it limits you quite a bit. Unless you're playing those specific type of hands, I might chuck it up to a high C, low B, but averaging it out there, I'd probably have to chuck it down in a D, to be honest. Next up, we have Seance. If the poker hand is a straight flush, create a random spectral card. Yeah, straight flushes are not easy to get. If you are getting them there, get a free spectral out of it there. If you going to be basing this off of the fact that you're playing straight flushes, let's just chuck that into probably a low B. But any other type of hand that you're playing though, do not touch it. It is useless. Riffraff. So when the blind is selected, create 2 common jokers. This card is amazing in the early to mid game. You might not have enough jokers on the field. You'll get some extra jokers. If you get jokers you don't want to use or they're completely useless to your run, you can sell them off. It's free money, and it will just keep going until you start to actually get the jokers that you want to keep and take to the end game. So I have to rate this one actually quite highly. I'd almost chuck it into God tier because it's so versatile. I'm going to chuck it into God tier. Probably a controversial take, but I think that the money that it can bring in and the fact that you can get some good jokers out of it, I mean, you can't complain. Vampire, speaking of controversy, this Joker gains 0.1 multi per scoring enhanced card, but it removes that enhancement. I think that is shite. I don't like that at all. I'd rather the enhanced card bonuses than adding a bit of a multi to that. Shortcut, allow straights to be made with gaps of 1 rank. If you're doing straights, this thing is amazing, and straight flushes. So you can basically have a straight where it's 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, or 2, 4, 5, 7, 8. As long as there's a gap of only 1 number between it there, you can make straights a lot easier. So I have to, for what it is, probably rate that in a low A, to be honest. For a straight player, that thing is useful. Now, hologram. This Joker gains 0.25 multi every time a playing card is added to your deck. If you're adding a lot of playing cards, this thing is amazing. If you're not adding cards, it is useless. So if you're not adding it, avoid completely. If you are adding cards, though, it is probably a mid A. You can get a multi up pretty quick with it. Vagabond. Create a tarot card if the hand is played with less than $4 or less. This card is very, very good. If you have not much money in your account or no money in your account, every hand that you play, you are getting a tarot card, which you can just use to bolster everything else up there. If you are not worried about having a bank balance, this thing is insanely powerful. I actually rate this as one of the highest A tier cards, even almost God tier, because you're just getting free tarot cards continuously. Oh, the Baron. So you are getting a ×1 multi every king held in hand. If you build a lot of kings up in your deck and they are just sitting in your hand there while you're playing your hand, especially for high card, this thing is friggin' good. I would probably put it above Mime. Mime and Baron together are chef's kiss. So if you can get Baron and Mime, yeah, you'll be laughing. Next up we have Cloud9. So earn $1 for each 9 in your full deck at the end of the round. It says what it does. It's not going to help you scoring. It's just going to give you a bit of extra money. And unless you have more than 4 9s, it's not going to be hugely beneficial. Early to mid game when you're trying to build up some coin, yeah, fine. But other than that, I'd be cautious of it. But if you do want to make money though, the next card, Rocket, is definitely a pretty high-end God tier. I love the Rocket card. So you get $1 at the end of each round, and then every time you beat a boss blind, it gains $2. So the next ante, you're going to be getting $3 at the end of each round, then $5 at the end of each round, $7, and it just multiplies. It is a great card. While we are on the topic of cards that I hate, the Obelisk is probably one of the worst cards in the game, and it's a rare, which is even more insulting. The Joker gains 0.2 multi per consecutive hand play without playing your most played poker hand. So, not many people are going to be playing Balatro there. We're going to be playing a flush, and then a straight, and then a 4 of a kind, and then a 3 of a kind. That's kind of like your beginner type Balatro stuff. You're going to be chasing one type of hand there, so you're not getting any benefit out of Obelisk. I think it's crap. Unless I'm using it wrong, then please correct me in the comments. Next up, we have the Midas Mask. So this will basically turn all your face cards into gold cards if they are played. Yeah, she's fine. Again, probably has a good synergy with some other cards that we'll talk about a bit later on. But get some gold cards there, especially if you're not really playing the picture cards too much. Just play them, turn them into gold, make some money out of them, and away you go. Next up, we have the Luchador. Luchador I have to rate quite highly because this thing has actually saved me on some runs. So you sell it and it will disable a boss blind. Nice and simple, to the point, one use card, but what a use. Next up we have the Photograph. So first played face card gives you a ×2 multi when scored. Again, a good early game card, but past early game, probably not. I wouldn't be worried about it too much. So next up we have the gift card. So add $1 of sell value to every Joker and consumable card at the end of the round. This thing is pretty good, especially again if you are using Swashbuckler, where the value of your Jokers is going to be what's benefiting. Also the same with Temperance if that comes up. So for what it is, I have to rate it pretty highly, to be honest. So it's a nice little passive there. If obviously you want to get rid of it if it's affecting your score. If you're not quite making your round scores there, it's not worth having, but good for building your economy. Turtle Bean, +5 hand size, reduces by 1 every round. Yeah, I mean, if you need a lot of cards there for whatever reason, if you're chasing a specific hard 5-card hand, like a 5 of a kind or a flush house or something, it's probably better having that out there. But honestly, probably even a mid-C. I mean, not for me, I don't use it because I play high card or pair mainly now these days, so, but yeah. Erosion, so +4 multi for each card below 52. in your full deck. So if you're removing a lot of cards from your deck, this thing can get up there pretty well. If you have 10 cards missing, you're getting a plus 40 multi. So it's not bad. If you're someone who removes a lot of cards and that, this thing's pretty good. So I'd probably put it in a low B. Next up, we have reserve parking. So each face card held in hand has a 1 in 2 chance to give you $1. If you are using this in conjunction with Pareidolia, or even just using a lot of face cards, this thing is a good way to build some money. So I have to obviously put this up here. I think this is probably around the delayed gratification area. It's a 1 in 2 chance, so it's not guaranteed each card, but 50% is pretty good. I like them odds. Mail-in rebate, earn $5 for each discarded ace, and the rank will change each round. So it could be a king, it could be a 3, could be a 7. It's fine. You get some money, a couple of bucks, what, $5 for each one of those. So it's good if you have them there to discard, but yeah, I'd probably be using it early game to build up some money, and that's probably about it. I wouldn't use it past sort of ante 4. What we will then be looking at is To the Moon. So To the Moon, earn an extra $1 of interest for every $5 you have at the end of the round. If you have a large bank balance, and that's generally how I like to play, this thing is great. Chuck it right up there. Hallucination, 1 in 2 chance of getting a tarot card whenever you open a booster pack. If you are buying a lot of booster packs and have this in play, you got a 50% chance of getting an extra extra tarot out of it there. So very, very simple, very easy card. I think it's actually pretty good. Early to mid game, wouldn't again be using it later on, but it will help you out to start off. Fortune Teller, 1 multi per tarot card used this run. So unless you are using an absolute bucket load of tarot cards, this thing becomes kind of useless, to be honest. So yeah, I mean, with Hallucination, it might be more beneficial if you get them both very early on, but honestly, I'd probably just avoid this one. I'd still probably say it's above some of these other ones down here, but it's still in the avoid category. Next up, we have Juggler, +1 hand size. Again, it's so basic and useless for my type of playing there, but even if you are going for a 5 of a kind or a full house of 5 card play, it's just not enough to really help you out. The Drunkard, which is kind of like the twin to Juggler, is much more useful. You get a +1 discard. So if you're using this and you've got, yeah, Banner or Delayed Gratification, it gets an additional little bonus there, doesn't it? So not great, but much better than Juggler. I'll chuck it in probably a high C. Next up, we have the Stone Joker. Again, the only card that makes the Marble Joker good, and the Marble Joker is the only one that makes the Stone card good. If you're not using these together, then I wouldn't be using them at all. I'd probably avoid this one completely unless you are building your deck around Stone cards, but I don't think that's a very common tactic these days, to be honest. So Golden Joker, very simple. You get $4 at the end of each round. It's good to start off with, but again, you won't be keeping it for very long. Next up, we have got the Lucky Cat. So this will gain a 0.25 multi every time a lucky card is triggered. So your 1 in 5 chance of getting a 20+ multi, or a 1 in 15 chance of getting $20. Unless you have a lot of lucky cards, and unless maybe you have something like the Oops All Sixes, I would probably avoid, to be honest. You have to have, it's so situational. You have to have so many things in play for that thing to become beneficial. Next up, we have the baseball card. So all uncommon jokers will give you a 1.5 times multi. I mean, it's probably a high A to a low God tier almost. If you have, I'd say if you have 1 or 2 uncommons, it's a high A. If you have 3 or 4 uncommons, it is God tier. Take that as you will. Next up, we have the Bull. So two chips for every $1 you have. If you have a high bank account, this thing is just friggin' mental. I'd actually chuck it up above mine. It is definitely high in God tier. I just did a high card run video on my channel. There'll be a link in the description. But I ended up with 3 Bull cards and a high bank balance there, and had no other benefits there, and it was just making my high card run insane. So very, very useful card. Nice easy one now, Diet Cola. Sell it to get a double tag. So skip bonus, you get 2 of them instead of 1. It is super basic, but it is super useful. If a negative or a rare joker skip bonus comes up, sell that bad boy, get 2 of those things, you are laughing. Next up, we have got the trading card. If the first card of a round has only 1 card, first discard of a round only has 1 card, destroy it and earn $3. It's a good way to thin your deck out. It's a good way to earn a couple of bucks doing it. It's not super useful. It's not super bad. I'd probably put it right bang smack in the middle. Yeah, I'd say probably around. I'd probably put it above the old jumping bean. Next, we have got the flash card. This Joker gains a +2 multi per reroll in the shop. Unless you're doing a whole bunch of rerolls, and I don't think people are really doing that, to be honest. It's just a waste of money there. I think this card is absolutely trash. Probably above To-Do List and Obelisk. Obelisk, I think, is my most hated card. So it's going to be staying there. Sorry if you're an Obelisk fans. Next up, we have got the Popcorn. Popcorn is fine if you are getting it in the first or second ante, but you're only going to get 5 rounds out of it there. You get a 20+ multi, and it drops by 4 each round. It's a D. Yeah, pretty low D as well. It's not a good card. It's fine if you have nothing else and you just need something to help you get across the line, but don't rely on it. Spare Trousers. This Joker gains a +2 multi if played hand contains a 2 pair. So if you're playing 2 pair or full houses and you get this early on, it gradually will pick up some steam and help you in the end game, but honestly, it doesn't gain up enough steam to make it worthwhile. So I'll put it probably in a high C. Ancient Joker. So each played card with a blank suit gives you a 1.5 times multi when scored, and that suit changes at the end of each round. It's hard because if you're playing flushes there, it will be very handy if the suit that it wants is hearts and you've got lots of hearts. But generally, if you're playing flush runs there, you are building around one specific suit. You're not focusing on all 4 suits. So it's basically going to be good one out of every 4 rounds, basically. When it's working, it would be working well. Probably a high C. I'd probably go a low C for a rare card there. Yeah. Ramen, ×2 multi, but it loses 0.01 multi per card discarded. So if you're someone who doesn't discard cards, you just basically get a free ×2 multi as long as it's in your hand. Pretty good. I'd say a low A. Walkie Talkie, each 10 and 4 play gives you 10 chips and +4 multi. If you're basing your play around 10s, playing around 4s, yeah, you get some use out of it there, but it's only if you're playing with those. If you're not playing with them, completely avoid. If you are playing with them there, that's fine. I'd still probably put it as a low C. It's still not even great if you are basing it around 10s or 4s. Seltzer, re-trigger all cards played for the next 10 hands. So yeah, this is good, especially if you get it mid-game and you've got a spare slot there. Get a re-trigger of every hand or every card in your hand playing. It's pretty much a no-brainer there. It's good. It says what it does on the label. Let's just chuck her around a mid-A. Again, it's not a permanent card. You get 10 uses, but what a good 10 uses you'll get. Castle. The Joker will gain 3+ chips per discarded blank card, and the suit changes every round. So it could be discard your hearts and you'll get +3 chips. Discard your clubs, +3 chips. Yeah, it's good if you are doing a lot of discarding, and yeah, go for it. If you haven't really focused your deck on a specific suit or anything like that, then yeah, you can get some use out of it. I'd probably go around a mid-B. Smiley. Smiley is very similar to Scary Face there. It's based on your face cards being played, and you get a +5 multi per face card scored. But it is not as good as Scary Face, in my opinion. I don't think that it's as good. It's still decent, but not good. But yeah, very, very good with Pareidolia and Scary Face in conjunction with each other. Them 3 together are quite good, but by itself, probably a low B. Campfire. This Joker gains 0.25 multi for each card sold, and it resets when a boss blind is depleted. If you're selling a lot of cards, yeah, you can get some use out of this there. But generally, you're not going to be selling enough to make it worthwhile. I honestly would probably avoid it, but it's a high avoid. Some people get some use out of it, just not me. Next up, we have got the golden ticket. So play gold cards, earn $4 when scored. Yeah, I mean, it's fine if you got a lot of gold cards. So if this is pretty good if it's in use with Midas's Mask, I'd chuck it up there. But if it's not, it's down here. But we'll make it, let's rank it as if it was play with Midas Mask there. Let's just chuck it next to it there. It's not bad. Next, we got Mr. Bones. Prevents death if this chip scored at least 25% of chips required. It's this self-destruct. So essentially, if you need 1,000,000 points to pass the round and you get 751,000, this card will destroy itself and you'll pass the round. It's just a get out of jail free card, basically. So yeah, it's fine. For what it does, at once off use there, it saved me. I have to put it up in the same category as Luchador. I think it's quite good. Yeah. Next up, we have got Acrobat. So ×3 multi on final hand of the round. So yeah, I don't rate it. I'll put it into D. I generally, as I said, try to get my round finished in the first 1 or 2 hands there. If you are relying on your last hand to get you across the line there, then you probably want to rethink your strategy. But yeah. Next, we have the Sock and Buskin re-trigger all played face cards. So, yep, you're using this in conjunction with Pareidolia, Scary Face, Smiley Face. Re-triggering them is, yeah, it's quite good. I mean, I have to chuck that up there, probably right next to Pareidolia, to be honest. So, next we got Swashbuckler. Again, Swashbuckler is either a D tier if you only have 5 jokers and they're just sitting there. But if you have this thing with egg and gift card, it is low A. It is very, very powerful for either of those two. If you don't have egg or gift card, don't get it. Unless you've got nothing else and you have free spot just sitting there. But otherwise, yeah, get it with egg and gift card. Next up, we got Troubadour. So +2 hand size and -1 hand each round. I honestly think that having a hand is more powerful than having a +2 hand size, so I would avoid. Next up, we have got Certificate. So when the round begins, add a random playing card with a random seal to your hand. So your purple, blue, and red seals. You just get a random hand, a card added to it there. It's good because you get the sealed cards, but it's bad because you're just getting random things and it's just going to pad out your deck. Might make it very hard to get what you're actually after. So for what it is, I mean, it's powerful, but it's also very negative. So I have to put it into probably a mid C, I'd say. Next up, we have got the Smeared Joker. So hearts and diamonds count as the same suit, spades and clubs count as the same suits. If you are going for flushes, and especially if you are going for straight flushes, this card is a low A. It is very, very useful. It's almost a necessity if you're doing straight flushes, so just makes it much easier to get them. The throwback, so 0.25 multi for each blind skip this run. So if you're someone who skips a lot of blinds, this card can be super useful. I generally wouldn't advise skipping a lot of them. You want to be building up some bank, you want to be going to the shop, unless you have got amazing cards early on or whatever it is, then skip away. But for what it is though, it can be quite powerful. If you skipped say 4 or 5 runs, yeah, you can get some benefit out of it. So I'll chuck it up around that area. I think a mid A is pretty good for it. Hanging Chad. Hanging Chad, especially for someone like me who plays high card, is amazing. You get 2 re-triggers of the first card played in your hand. Just make sure if you are playing anything more than a high card, if you have an enhanced card in it, just make sure that that's all the way to the left, so that's the one that gets re-triggered. So, but for me, I would definitely be putting it up into a high A. It's very useful. The next 4 cards are, again, going to be based off of suits. So we've got the Rough Gem. Gives you $1 for every diamond suit played. Yeah, she's fine. If you're basing it around say a diamond flush run, then I would be putting it in probably a low A. If you're not doing that, it is an avoid. And all of these are going to be very, very similar. Bloodstone, you get a 1 in 2 chance of a 1.5 times multi when a heart card is scored. So you don't get it every time, but it's a 1 in 2 chance of getting it. Again, only if you're doing a flush heart run. I'd be probably popping it around maybe a little bit higher. I think it's a little bit more useful than the Rough Gem, so chuck it around there. Next we have Arrowhead, so same deal. If you are doing a spade flush run, this will give you 50 chips per spade scored. This I find a lot more useful than a Bloodstone is it Bloodstone or Heartstone, whatever it's called, and the Rough Gem. I'd actually chuck this more up here. For someone doing a flush spade run, that thing is chef's kiss. Onyx Agate, played cards with club will give you a +7 multi when scored. Out of these 4 cards, this one is probably the most poo. It's still useful if you're doing a club run, but I'd put it at a low B. I think it's the least good out of those. Next up, we have the Glass Joker. If you've got a lot of glass, jokers in play, it is useful. You get a 0.75 multi added to the joker every time a glass card is destroyed. Unless you are destroying glass cards left, right, and center, it is not great. Even destroying 2 or 3 glass cards makes it a pretty good card. So I'll probably put it in around here. Again, only if you got glass jokers. If you don't have any glass cards, if you don't have any glass cards, don't get it. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. Next up, we have got the Showman. So jokers, tarot cards, planet cards, and spectral cards may appear multiple times. Yeah, I mean, especially early game when you're building your deck, this thing can be pretty OP. I reckon you can get a lot of use out of it. Just don't keep it past your mid game, I'd say, once you start really getting your jokers and everything else down. Next up, we have got the Flower Pot. So this is a ×3 multi if the joker hand contains one of each suit, essentially. I think this is one of the most trash cards in the game, just because unless you're doing 4 of a kind or 5 of a kind, it's really useless, to be honest, or a straight, but there's a lot of variables that come into play. It's just nowhere near as useful as any of the other cards above it. So next up we have Blueprint. Blueprint, now this is not going to be controversial to anyone who's played Balatro. Blueprint is probably the best card in the game. So it essentially just copies a ability of the joker to the right of it. So if it's set up like that, and I use DNA, I obviously use one card and get a copy of it there, it will create an additional copy of it. Yeah, I mean, it pretty much just creates an additional version of nearly any of the jokers. Some of it doesn't work with, but most it will. So yeah, God tier card, that one. It almost needs an extra row just for itself. This joker gains 8 chips when each played 2 is scored. Unless you have a lot of 2s and you get it very early on, I would probably just avoid it, but it's fairly decent. It's a rare card, so I'd expect it to do a bit more than that, but I'll put it as a high D, maybe even a low C. We've got the Mary Andy. Now, this is a bit of a sleeper card. So it's +3 discards each round, but you get a -1 hand size. For someone like me, who is doing high card, they don't really need many cards in their hand. Yeah, I mean, 3 extra discards, especially if you've got something like Banner or Delayed Gratification. This is a phenomenal card to have. I actually put it in a pretty high A tier area. Next up we have all 6s. So this basically doubles your probabilities. If you have a 1 in 3 chance of something, you're gonna have a 2 in 3 chance of something. It is mainly beneficial, but it also will really negatively affect your Grosmichael and your Cavendish, because you go from a 1 in 6 chance of your Grosmichael being destroyed to a 2 in 6, which is 1 in 3. Your Cavendish goes from 1 in 1,000 to 1 in 500. So it has a negative impact, but most of the time it's pretty good. I'd probably go a low B, maybe probably even a mid C, I'd say. Unless you've got a lot of cards, like lucky cards and a lot of cards with probabilities in it there, it's not really super useful. Next up, we have the Mask from Crash Bandicoot, or the Idol. So each specific rank and specific suit played, you get a ×2 multi when it's scored. You could get an Ace of Spades, you could get a King of Hearts, you might need a 7 of Clubs. That changes every round. You're chasing one specific card in one specific suit. It is horrible. I think it's one of the worst cards, which is a shame because it's such a fun looking card. Next up we have the Seeing Double. So it's a ×2 multi if the played hand has a club and a different suit. Again, if you're doing pairs, 3 of a kind, so on and so forth, it's fine. It's a mid card. I wouldn't really recommend it, but it is what it is. Matador, $8 is earned if you trigger the boss blind. Generally, I wouldn't be wanting to trigger boss blinds because some of them will have a negative impact, but some of them don't really have any too bad of impact. If you've got a hand to waste or anything along those lines and want a bit of extra money, then it's fine. But yeah, I'd probably go a lower end C, to be honest. So Hit the Road. I was excited as hell when this came out. I thought we might have a rival to the Baron. So this is, it will gain a 0.5 multi for every Jack you discard this round. Now, unless you have an absolute buckload of Jacks in your deck, this card is horrible. I've tried it so many times. I put over 1,000 hours into Balatro, and I have tried to use it a few times to see if I'm doing something wrong. Unless I am doing something wrong, and tell me in the comments, but otherwise, I can't put it in avoid because there is still some benefit. Even if you have a few jacks, it's good, but I don't think it's that great, to be honest. So now these next 5 cards here are all based again on suits, so very similar to these ones here, just a bit better. So you're getting a ×2 multi for a pair. Yeah, if you're playing a pair run, ×2 multi is pretty good. Probably put it more in a high B. 3 of a kind. If your hand contains it, so 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, or a full house. Yeah, I'd say it's a little bit better than that. I might even put that up there. If you're doing the 4 of a kind run, the family gives you a ×4 multiplier. I would actually chuck that into a low A because 4 of a kind is a trickier hand to get, and if that's all you are playing, getting a ×4 multi with it is good. Next up, we will go the order, ×3 for a straight. Again, great. Go a high B. And lastly, the flush. Now, the flush is one that I'm actually going to be chucking into a high C because you're only getting a ×2 multi with it. And I think that it shouldn't be getting the same as a pair. I think you should be getting at least a ×3. It's probably as hard to get as a 3 of a kind, if not harder. So I think that it should be a higher multiplier on that one. Next up, we have a Stuntman. So plus 250 chips, but you get -2 hand size. If you're playing like me, playing high card or pair, you don't care about hand size. This thing's pretty wicked. So I'm gonna chuck her up in Gods here. I use it every time. Invisible Joker. Invisible Joker as well is an amazingly good card. This one here, if you keep it for 2 rounds and then sell it, it will create a random copy of one of your other Jokers. But what I'd be recommending is if you have one Joker that you really like, the other ones are just sitting there, like doing nothing really, I would sell off all the bad Jokers, then sell the Invisible Joker and get a copy of the Joker that you really like. That is one of the best strategies to use the Invisible Joker. Otherwise, you're just getting a copy of a card that you probably don't really want. I'd probably chuck this up here as well. I think it's quite useful. Actually, probably even a bit higher, to be honest, because, I mean, you can create a second Blueprint or a second DNA or a second Baron. Next up, we have got Brainstorm. Brainstorm, I'm not going to dwell on it there because it essentially is another Blueprint. So, boop, pop it right there. It just does the same thing, just to the leftmost card instead of the card directly to the right. Next, we have Satellite. Earn $1 at the end of each round per unique planet card that's played. So if you're just playing a whole bunch of planet cards, works very well with Astronomer in play as well, this one. Yeah, you can make some extra money out of it there. It's good to build some economy. Again, not a card you'd take into the end game, but it's good to build up some money. So yeah, we've got about a mid B, I'd say. Shoot to the Moon. Each queen held in hand gives 13 plus multi. This is basically the poor man's Baron. Not anywhere near as powerful as the Baron, but still decent. If you have a whole bunch of queens, it can be alright. So I'd probably have to go a high C, maybe. Next, we were moving on to Driver's License. So a ×3 multi if you have 16 enhanced card in your deck. This is not a Joker that you want to be getting early because you don't know if you're going to have a lot of enhanced cards, so it could be just a waste. If you do have a lot of enhanced cards and this thing pops out, it's useful. I'd probably chuck it up in a low B, maybe even a high C. I'd probably chuck it in chuck it around here, I think. For a rare card, 16 enhanced is a bit of an ask. I'd be saying something closer to like 8 to 10. I'd probably rank it a lot higher because that's easier to get. 16 enhanced cards is not an easy task. So next up, we have the Cartomancer. Create a tarot card when a blind is selected. It is just that. Every time you start a round there, bang, free tarot card. That's all it is. Not quite as good as, say, something like Vagabond where you get it each hand, but I'd probably still be chucking it up around the mid-C area, or mid-B area, sorry. Astronomer, as I just mentioned before, goes very good with Satellite. All your Celestial and Planet cards are free, especially early game. This thing helps you really build up your hand. I'd actually chuck this into a pretty decent sort of A tier level for myself. Burnt Joker, upgrade the level of the first discarded poker hand each round. So you, again, if you're doing a high card run, especially for low end cards, so high card, pair, maybe even 3 of a kind, if you just discard that hand, it will level up that poker level for you. So especially with high card, you just discard one random card, it will level up high card. Next round, discard one random card, levels up high card. It is, for a high card player, one of the most useful cards in the game. So useful that I'd probably be chucking it up around there. It is definitely pretty good in the God tier level. Next up, we have bootstraps, +2 multi for every $5 you have. If you have a whole bunch of coin, this thing's all right. Probably chuck it up in the B, but that's the only time that it's useful. If you're someone who doesn't have much money in your account, it is not useful. I'd probably be putting it in D. Let's put it above Hit the Road, just to annoy some Hit the Road fans. Now we are on to the final 5, the legendaries. So we've got Kaneo. This Joker gains a ×1 multi when a face card is destroyed. If you've got the ability to destroy face cards and you have this, yeah, this thing can slap later on down the track. So you want to be getting Hanged Man and destroying those face cards like crazy. If you are doing that, yeah, it's a high A for me, to be honest. AAA, played kings and queens each give ×2 multi when scored. If you're playing kings and queens, yeah, useful as. Probably put it up in an A, but it's only if you're playing those specific types. I don't think it is quite as useful as Kaneo, so I'm probably going to chuck it into maybe a high B. I don't think it's a good legendary in comparison to the others. Next up, we have Yorick. So this Joker gains a ×1 multi every 23 cards discarded. If you are not playing any Jokers that require you to keep discards, just discard cards like crazy, build this thing up, especially if you get it early on. I've had it up to having like a ×8, ×9 multiplier, and it's just carried me into stupidly high scores. So Yorick, I am probably going to be chucking into a low God tier. Shikot disables effect of every boss blind. It is basically a permanent luchador, so I can't rate it below that. But it is a legendary, so stuff it. It's going to be a high A. It's not the most perfect card out of the legendary bunch, but it is pretty good. And now the last card is the Perkio. So it creates a negative copy of one random consumable card in your possession at the end of a shop. So if you've got a consumable sitting up in your top right corner there, with this Joker in play, as soon as you end the shop there, it will just create a copy of that consumable, and you can just do it over and over and over again. You'll probably find that most people playing the high antes and getting ridiculous scores have probably got this in their card, their deck, because you can basically just create a deck however you want out of it. It's almost like a cheat. So I have to rate it fairly highly. I would probably chuck it around a mid-God tier. Not quite as good as the ones up here, but damn, she is powerful. And that is it. That is every 150 Joker currently. Once the DLC comes out, I will tackle that and probably re-change this list around a little bit, because there'll probably be some nicer synergies out. But other than that, that is about it. I'm doing some more Balatro videos to help newcomers out, just some strategies and some other tier lists in regards to the vouchers, the skip bonuses, the decks, and so on. If you want to learn more and fine-tune your Balatro game, feel free to subscribe, like, whatever it is. I apologize if I've been a bit slurry. I've just gotten over having influenza for the last 3 weeks, so I am still recovering, but I felt good enough to try and make this video. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Letters.